mames, eso está bien cabrón.
No manches, pa. No, 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 no. Mira.
When it comes to exploring trails at night or in the day, there is always something you gotta remember. It's just your flashlight, your camera, and yourself. And maybe a couple of buddies if you're smart enough. Because who knows? There might be a terrifying anomaly out there that may just turn your casual hiking or camping trip into a new supernatural discovery. Exploring woodland trails in the dead of night is not for the faint of heart, especially when you come across anomalies that your brain simply cannot make sense of. We know what a dog looks like, and we know what a pig looks like, but what happens when the two of them are combined together? The person who uploaded this seemed to have the same questions, keeping a close following on the strange animal that you see in the video. What's striking about this weird creature is that it almost looks as if two of its body parts do not belong together. Its head is much bigger than the rest of its smaller body, and the coloration of its fur does not match at all. There is a clear stripe that goes down its head, but stops immediately at its neck. And that's extremely unusual. This spliced creature seems to also carry its prey with ease, not tiring in the slightest despite its size comparison. If you come across its path, would you also be brave enough to follow it? At least with animal-like anomalies, our brains can easily categorize the creature as some sort of species that maybe hadn't been discovered yet until that very day. But what if it was a supernatural monster that looked eerily similar to a human? Taking a nighttime ride on their bikes, a group of guys come across this eerie person-like form, except they are completely bare from head to toe, without even a speck of hair on their head. This is not at all like a normal thing to come across in an open area. I'm getting extremely uncanny valley vibes the longer I look at this thing. The way it carries its arms and how it walks, and not to mention the slow turnaround it does when it's approached by the bikers. Extremely bold of them, might I add. It almost unironically reminds me of a Ken doll, completely stripped of everything that remotely resembles a normal human being. Something is just not right about this video. And like the two bikers in the beginning of the video, you will not catch me sticking around to find out what that thing is. There is something magical and almost fairy-like about wanting to walk around in the woods in a delicate nightgown and maybe some braids in my hair and flowers. But in the daytime, not in an absolute pitch black forest where I can't even see 5 feet in front of me. Environment and atmosphere is everything when it comes to photography, and this trail cam photo definitely nailed the taking of Deborah Logan look. As you can see, this still image shows what may appear to be an older woman walking through the woods at night. I say older because of the vintage nightgown, which I totally don't own myself. The owner of this trail cam is unknown, and I think that makes it all the more scary. Where did it come from? Who is this strange woman? And will we ever find out why she's out in the woods by herself? All I know is I hope she's all right. Having the safety of a car when traveling alone at night definitely brings me more comfort and ease knowing that there is at least some sort of barrier between me and whatever may be out there lurking within the darkness. An account named Creepy Outdoors on TikTok uploaded this video online, showing what appears to be a solo hiker trying to enjoy a peaceful night alone out in a forest trail. Now, I'm not the one to judge, but you should always make sure to have someone with you when you're being this brave. Throughout his journey, the man felt off and decided to end his journey early. However, finally making it back into that safe barrier of his car, he started to hear a strange knocking coming from the back window. This happens multiple times, and the second time sounding more urgent and slightly aggressive than the first. Finally being taken out of freeze mode, the hiker goes to investigate, only to find something he truly wishes he didn't see. A handprint is outlined on the back window, only it wasn't a human, as he lightly outlines with his finger of its rough shape. Thankfully, the TikToker is safe and nothing else came out of this encounter. But still, what could have possibly been knocking that much to get his attention? Especially if it wasn't a human that was doing it. I truly do believe there are hidden secrets that our Earth holds from us, and whether it be from the government or something completely out of this world, I aim to keep an open mind about them. As my jealousy exceeds me, these two hikers were given the opportunity to catch such a sighting. Or so they claim. They appeared to be in a canyon of sorts, and seemingly had stopped in the middle of their journey because they allegedly saw a door open on the side of a hillside wall. This is actually disturbing because as they zoom in on the hill, you can actually see a door-shaped cutout within the rock. I feel if I do look at it long enough, my brain will start to make me think, or make me see it opening and closing as well. My guess is There's gotta be something sort of secret base in there if what they're telling us is true. Now I want to go out there and find out for myself. But like always, only in the daytime, and maybe with 5 to 10 friends supporting me.
Technically, this forest is open to the public, but a lot of areas are closed off, and authorities strongly discourage going outside the designated trails. This is a very dense, quiet patch of woods sitting at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan. Locals call it the Sea of Trees because it's so thick it's easy to get lost in just a few minutes. The ground is all hardened lava from an old eruption, and it absorbs sound, so when you're in there, it's dead silent. That silence is one of the things that makes this place feel so unsettling, and its dark reputation doesn't help either. For decades, people have been going into this forest never to come out again. For whatever reason, people take their own lives here. Signs are posted all over the place telling visitors to turn back or talk to someone if they're feeling overwhelmed. Authorities do regular sweeps, and there are even volunteer groups who go in and look for abandoned tents and missing people. That's how often this happens here. The forest is said to have this strange pull to it, beautiful on the outside, but with this unsettlingly heavy energy. Hoia Baciu Forest is said to be one of the strangest places in Romania. There have been stories about it for hundreds of years, people vanishing, hearing voices when no one's around, even getting rashes and nausea after spending time inside. One of the most famous spots is a circular clearing deep in the woods where no trees grow at all. The scientists have tested the soil and can't seem to find a clear reason why nothing survives there. The trees around the circle are all twisted in weird shapes too. And paranormal researchers who've spent the night have said their equipment will act up, batteries will die instantly, footage will come back distorted. The place is technically open to visitors, but parts have been closed off over the years, especially after fires or when people have gone missing. They've also restricted drone use, which is rare for a forest like this. If you ask anyone who's been, probably tell you once you're inside, the forest feels like it closes in on you, almost as if it doesn't want you to leave. There have been stories about Witchwood Forest in England being haunted since at least the 1600s. The most well-known story is about the ghost of Amy Robsart, the wife of Lord Robert Dudley, who was found dead at the bottom of a staircase in 1560. Her death was ruled an accident, but many believe she was pushed, possibly so Dudley could marry Queen Elizabeth I. People claim she appears suddenly in the forest, and if she speaks to you, you'll die shortly after. Others have seen a horse-drawn carriage racing through the trees or shadowy figures standing just off the trails. There have also been reports of people hearing their names whispered, sometimes by voices they recognize, except said person isn't actually with them. The forest is a conservation area today, but there are large portions of it that are protected and off limits. Rangers have also reported people needing to be rescued or escorted out in a panic after getting lost. And some locals, especially the older ones, won't go near the place after dark. The Pine Barrens cover over 1 million acres in southern New Jersey. The deeper you go, the stranger it gets. Most people know the Pine Barrens because of the Jersey Devil, a winged, horned cryptid said to stalk the woods, but the real dangers are much more grounded. Massive wildfires break out here all the time, and a lot of them spread fast because the forest floor is packed with dry pine needles and sandy soil. We've also got abandoned towns hiding here, old iron and sawmill villages that were left behind in the 1800s. Sections of Brendan T. Burns State Forest, Wharton State Forest, and others have been sealed off temporarily because of illegal dumping and unexploded ordnance from old military training exercises. And people get lost here too. Rescue teams have found them disoriented, dehydrated, and in some cases telling stories about being followed, but not by animals, something else, something they couldn't quite explain. One guy said he kept hearing footsteps behind him, but every time he turned around, nothing was there, just trees. About 90 miles off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, there's an island so dangerous it's completely off limits. It's crawling with golden lancehead vipers, a species that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. Some estimates say there could be 1 snake per square meter. Their venom is so strong it can melt your flesh. You step wrong here and you don't get a second chance. These snakes are terrifying too. They're known to snatch up birds when they perch on the trees. The island used to have a lighthouse and a family living on it in the early 1900s, but story goes they didn't make it very long. After that, the place was fully abandoned. Now only a few government researchers and military personnel are allowed to go, and they have to follow very strict protocols, including bringing medical staff with them, of course. Biologists still study the snakes because their venom might be useful for new medicines, but aside from that, the island is completely sealed off.
These trail camera images serve as a chilling reminder that the woods hide secrets, some of which might never fully be understood. Whether they capture strange creatures, restless spirits, or mere tricks of light, each one carries a sense of mystery that's quite hard to shake. Here are unexplained mysteries caught on trail cameras that still haunt scientists. Number 10, alien caught on camera. In September 2024, this mysterious figure was caught on camera. Its movement activated the trail cam, and it appears to have a glowing body and an orb-shaped head. This is one of those eerie sightings that sends shivers right down your spine, especially with all the drone stuff happening. Is this an alien? The soft, otherworldly glow that it gives off only adds to its unsettling, odd appearance, making it seem as if it's straight out of a sci-fi nightmare. Its form seems definitely unnatural. That's not an animal for sure. Now, some say it is an optical illusion, possibly lens flare or strange reflection off the lens, making it appear far larger than it actually is. Yet the way the light plays around its figure leaves many wondering, could it be something we can't explain? Or is it just another trick of the eye? Either way, the mysterious nature of this alien image still holds a creepy allure, leaving you to wonder if there's something more out there. Number 9, Ghost Woman. This photo comes to us from Brandon Cottrell. They say, quote, "When I was setting up the trail cameras that day, it felt like I wasn't alone outside." The eerie part is that a young woman went missing in this very area back in the late 80s, and despite years of searching, they've never found any remains. That history combined with this photo, remind me to never go in the woods again. I'm just gonna stay inside forever. We're good. It's hard not to imagine that whatever was out there that day could have been linked to the disappearance, as if something or someone has been watching the area for all of these years, just waiting for the right time to reveal itself. That was spooky. Sent shivers down my back reading that one. Whenever I do this with my hands, is how you know it's real. Number 8, Ghost Snake. What in the world is this? This strange figure zipped past the camera not once, but twice, leaving us all scratching our heads. It's completely unexplainable, especially considering it was caught in the middle of nowhere, deep in the upper Midwest. No one can figure out what it is or where it came from. The way it moved so quickly, so purposefully, has us questioning everything. Could it be something we've never seen before up until now? Or is there another explanation that we're missing? I can't figure it out. I can't even think about what animal this could be. Last I checked, electric eels don't fly, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I have a coffee bean or something stuck in my... something in there. It's right there. I feel it. Number 7, Montana Grim Reaper. This one comes from a user, and they say, "My grandpa lives in rural Montana, and one day one of his friends from town came into the local bar looking completely shaken. So my grandpa then said that he was in a state of shock almost. His face was as pale as a ghost. He was reluctant to show the photos at first, worried that people might think that he was losing his mind. More than fair. He owns a big piece of land and has trail cameras set up to track wildlife. That part's not weird. But when he went through the footage, that's when he found something quite odd. My grandpa's wife sent the photos to a nearby university for analysis, and to their surprise, the professor couldn't explain what they were looking at. So what do you think this is? Or who? Any ideas on what could be lurking? What are your best theories? Comment down below. Number 6, Chain Man. This user anonymously posted this photo online with an eerie backstory. They say, "My uncle set up a trail cam at my old grandparents' house, which is now abandoned." Abandoned, that's the key word here. The camera takes 3 photos every time it detects motion, but this strange figure only shows up in 1 of the 3 shots. They have no idea what it was. They say, "I'm not saying it's a ghost, though I don't really believe in that stuff. Hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but that's for sure a ghost. Either there's a man living there or there's a ghost living there. One of the two. Good game. Thanks for sharing."
In our number 5 spot today, we have the creepy figure. This video starts off with a group of men riding their motorcycles through the woods, which honestly already sounds challenging enough. The video seems to be progressing as one would expect until things take a turn for the worse. Quickly, the video descends into terror and madness as they realize that something or someone is chasing them. You can hear one of the men yelling and screaming for help as the other men in front of him begin to pull over and try and figure out what is happening. That would be absolutely jarring to be just on a fun day out with your friends when suddenly one of them starts screaming for help. Absolutely terrifying already, but I don't think any of the men were expecting to see what happens next. A creepy human-like creature can be seen chasing the men, and when one of them gets off the bike, it begins coming up to the bike and toward the group. The men are caught between being utterly terrified of this encounter while also trying to protect their bike from damage or being stolen. You can absolutely hear the panic in their voices as they try to figure out what exactly is going on. In our number 4 spot today, we have this weird creature. This video comes from Australia, which is of course the land of creepy creatures, and whatever is caught on this video is certainly no exception. The person who captured the video was driving through a deserted forest at night, which just already feels like you're asking for trouble. As they are driving through this creepy area and recording, something appears in front of the car. This creature, whatever it is, although it doesn't look like any animals that I know of, quickly disappears just as quickly as it did appear, moving in a strange and very fast way. Let's take another look at this thing, but slow down a bit. Honestly, I have no explanation for what this is or what it could be. Some believe it's a skinwalker, others believe it's a demon. Whatever you want to believe, let's just hope you never cross paths with it. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Appalachian Trail footage. This next creepy video comes from someone who was hiking by themselves along the Appalachian Trail. He was resting in his tent, again, all alone, when suddenly he began to hear a terrifying screeching sound. I guess when you're out in the wilderness all alone, you really have no choice but to investigate the creepy sound. Better to know where it's coming from than just wait and see and hope for the best. He gets out of his tent and begins recording the sound as he calls out for any response to what could be making this horrifying sound. You can hear the fear in his voice as he tries to shine his light and see as far as he can in the pitch black wilderness. The noise sounds as though it's getting closer and closer, and you can faintly see shadows moving in between the trees as if something knows he is there and is coming to take a look. At one point, it even looks like you can maybe see the reflection of eyes off in the distance. It isn't quite clear exactly what he encountered that day, but whatever it is, I wouldn't want to meet it face to face. In our number 2 spot today, we have the creepy man. This video was taken in a remote area in Montana, out in what appears to be some kind of forest area. Now, a lot of the videos on today's list feature unknown creatures and creepy looking things, but this video looks like it just captures a man. The man gives off a kind of weird vibe to begin with. I mean, he's just standing alone in the woods, which is kind of weird. But the people recording call out to him to see if he's okay, if he needs any help, just to double check, which, you know, that's very nice of them. Unfortunately, instead of just a regular casual encounter, this man suddenly turns into an absolute nightmare. The man begins to move towards the people recording, but not in a normal human way, in a creepy, crawling way that would make anyone feel absolutely disturbed. Was this just a creepy person trying to freak someone out, or was something a little bit more paranormal at play? And finally, in our number 1 spot today, we have the graveyard ghost. Okay, I'll be honest, this video doesn't take place on a trail or in the woods, but it does take place somewhere equally as creepy, and that is a graveyard. Perhaps one of the creepiest places on Earth. It isn't quite clear exactly where this graveyard is, but the person who took the video had initially gone there because they apparently had been hearing some strange noises coming from the cemetery for several days. I feel like if I had heard a strange noise coming from a cemetery, I'd probably call the police, or Ed and Lorraine Warren. The last thing I would ever do would be to take it upon myself to investigate. The curious video taker is clearly braver than I because they went to explore and definitely found more than they had bargained for. I have absolutely no idea what this thing is, with its elongated limbs and creepy posture. I'm not sure how the person taking the video was able to stand there for so long, but I feel like fight or flight really took over in this case. Was this a ghost, a demon, a zombie? Honestly, at this point, the possibilities are endless.
Footage of a large, broad-shouldered figure moving through the trees was captured right up close. A massive predator swims just beneath the surface, dragging a bloated cow carcass through the water. And on Navajo land in Arizona, a strange figure was caught on camera. Locals say it matches stories that go back generations. These are cryptids caught clearly on camera in 2025. Well, you wanted clear footage of a cryptid. Here it is. It's not often we get supposed Sasquatch footage this clear and up close. Usually these videos are shot from a distance and the creature is almost impossible to make out. I know I say this almost every time I show a Bigfoot video, but understand that I sift through a lot of garbage and I just don't bother putting most of these videos on lists like this because these videos aren't meant to put you to sleep. Although if you use them for that, I'm not offended. Close your eyes, go back to bed. Is this video genuine though? I mean, how can I say for sure? I do like it, I'll say that. There's more going on here than a monkey suit from Party City. This thing looks to have some bulk to it. There's color variation in the fur. If it is a hoax, I think it's pretty well done. Well, this is a freaky piece of footage. Not only is there a massive dead cow floating through the water, there's something under it. Gonna guess that something was involved in the death of the cow. I mean, good lord, look at the size of this thing. There's a full-on dinosaur swimming in this river. Of course, this is a croc or a gator. I couldn't actually find where this video was filmed, but the thing is an absolute beast. I know, very insightful of me. Take a look at this strange photo. Picture was snapped on Navajo land between cornfields and Greasewood, Arizona. It's been making the rounds on social media lately. According to the person who shared it, her aunt snapped the picture at the end of a small canyon after hearing weird noises while tending livestock on her property. There's not much more info about it, other than claims that the creature was seen again a few days later. The family chose not to go after it. They figured it was best to just leave it alone. Wise. Apparently stories about creatures like this have been told in the area for generations though. What do you think of this one? Only explanation that I have outside of this being a genuine Sasquatch, of course, is a black bear. There are black bears in Arizona. I'm not sure if they frequent this specific area. If anyone from Arizona can enlighten me in the comments, that would be great. A video from Buenos Aires this week has gotten people talking about possible demons or something strange. Very strange. This short blurry clip that's been getting shared around quite a bit on social media, at least on the forums I check out, shows what looks like a street or garden in Argentina. Here we can see some sort of bizarre dark figure crawling on all fours toward the camera while a few dogs walk around in the background. The creature seems to have very long spindly limbs, but it's hard to see clearly because it's dark and the video quality isn't really the best. Local news says this happened in the town of Saladillo, and people living there are reportedly scared of whatever it was. Some witnesses have called it demonic and say it has inhuman agility that lets it climb walls and jump between trees. A local firefighter who didn't want to give his name said that, quote, something was going on. Another witness added, he's something big. He doesn't walk on all fours, he walks backwards. He's disjointed, he comes apart, his head is upside down while his body moves in an impossible way. All of that said in Spanish. Of course, this series of photos were posted to Reddit a couple weeks back by SnakeTree1911, who wrote, I work as a land steward in the northeastern part of the US. Part of my job is reviewing images taken by our game cams. We recently pulled a cam from a fairly remote area, which hasn't been checked in a long time. These images caught my eye. None of the naturalists on our staff could ID this thing. I'm not sure if I believe in cryptids or whatever, but I don't know what this thing is. It's not a deer, it certainly isn't a bobcat, and if it's a black bear, it's the biggest one I've ever seen. I included a daytime photo so you can see that it's not just some weird shaped rock or whatever. I don't know, Let me know what you think. And I will pose that same question to all you fine people watching. What do you think? So this image was posted to Reddit by user PHFM 4 months ago, with the caption reading, "Friend's trail cam in North Carolina." Now, I would be pretty alarmed knowing this thing was lurking around in the dark anywhere near me. The immediate thought is, well, that doesn't look right. This is a hairy creature standing on 2 legs, must be Bigfoot. Well, probably not. I mean, this could easily be a black bear. Bears do stand on their hind legs, and it could be hunching over, which is why you can't see its head, but even still, there's just something creepy about this image. It just looks oddly human to me. It's the best way I can describe it. What do you think, though? Bear, Bigfoot, werewolf, skinwalker, and mid-transformation? Let us know in the comments. Back in July of this year, the Instagram account Lower Florida Bucks posted this series of images here with the description reading, "I've had some strange trail cam pics sent in through the years, but these from Roberts Lowell might just take the cake." He got pics of this person/creature on 2 separate cameras and swears they're legit. He also said these were taken on a property 12 miles from the nearest town. What do y'all make of it? And that's a very good question. What do you make of whatever this is? It's hard to make anything out because of how blurry the figure is. Clearly it was darting around at a good speed. I can say this though, it doesn't look human, at least not exactly. This next Reddit post is from 2 months back. JT245 writes, "Hello. After looking at some old photos from a trail camera, I noticed a silhouette in the background and a white spot on the second photo. My brother was alone and has no explanation. What are your theories?" Now, take a real close look at these images and see if you can spot anything. It's hard to notice at first, but look at the middle right-hand side of the first image. We'll zoom in and circle it for you. Okay, so it's a shape that sort of has a form you might be able to recognize as a person, maybe. This wouldn't be all that strange on its own, but now take another look at the second picture. Whatever that shape is, it isn't there anymore. Now, I couldn't spot the white spot the uploader described in the second picture, but if you can find it, let us know down in the comments. But that figure is kind of strange. It's pretty small. Some people have said it looks like almost maybe it could be a fae. I don't know. So this next story may be not a creature captured on trail cam, but it's equally, if not more disturbing. This woman here was captured on a deer cam in the woods, going back and forth in the dark for hours, barefoot. The owner of the property was pretty alarmed when he saw the images, making a post online about it, reading, "Does anyone recognize this girl/woman? She appeared on my trail camera in July of this year at 5 a.m. She was barefoot and appears to be running. She isn't in any trouble with me, just curious who she is, what she was doing, and if she's okay. If you recognize her, please message me. I've been baffled by this for a month, mainly because the woods can be tough walking with boots. I contacted police as soon as I discovered the photos. They were baffled as well." Now, some commenters say she may just have been on a run, but apparently there are no trails nearby, and the area she was running in has a thicket that the property owner's dog won't even go through. It's just thick vegetation. No one would be wandering through there, especially at night barefoot. So it's just all very strange and kind of concerning. At the time of this recording, Redditor Apart Operation 329 just made this post a little over a week ago with the caption, "Humanoid found on trail cam." They went on to write, "My friend sent this to our group chat a while back. I don't know why I just now bothered to post it, but I wanted to know if anyone here could identify this thing. We can't tell if it's a person or not. Not sure if this is the right sub to put this in, but any help is appreciated." Now, what we see here is immediately off-putting. To me, this thing looks way too strange and thin to be human, but a lot of commenters mention that the figure does look like a human woman, just a really thin woman who probably isn't okay. It looks like she may have wounds on parts of her body, and she's clearly emaciated. Some think this person may have needed help and that the uploader should contact the police, but I don't know what good that will really do. Personally, it's hard to make anything out from this image, and it's from 2022. So this was someone in distress. I just hope they made it home okay. Hiking, it's an amazing way to get some exercise. Not only is it a great way to get your body moving and get some fresh air, but you also get to see some pretty beautiful scenery too. But you should never underestimate how brutal nature can be. Harsh weather, rough terrain, dangerous animals. Not to mention, you could get lost if you don't know what you're doing. So today we're discussing some famous hiking trails where people have vanished without a trace. And we're starting off with the Superstition Mountains in Arizona. There are plenty of public hiking trails here, but there are certain areas that are restricted. There are too many stories about this place to count, and many of them are pretty macabre. These mountains are very rugged and can be challenging to navigate. There are steep cliffs, the temperatures are extreme. Over the years, tons of hikers and treasure hunters have gone missing here, because yes, there's a legend of treasure buried somewhere on this mountain range. The main danger here, aside from all the ghost stories, is the harsh terrain and the lack of clear trails. It's very easy to get lost or fall to your death, and many people are never found. One of the creepiest stories about this place, though, are all the reports of heads being found. Human heads, and with their bodies sometimes being found in a completely different part of the mountain range, or just nowhere to be found at all. So, along with how inherently dangerous the place is, disturbing stuff has been known to happen here too. Even some very experienced hikers and mountain climbers will veer as far away from this place as possible, saying that there's just this bad energy about the place. Next up is Bridal Veil Falls Trail in Utah. This trail was closed for a while after a huge avalanche hit, and if I'm not mistaken, it may still be closed. Aside from dangers like that though, this place is also known for a pretty strange disappearance a few years back. It's a very scenic spot, known for a beautiful waterfall, and it isn't the most extreme hike, but it does have some tricky spots, and if you're not familiar with the area, it's easy to get turned around. In 2016, 2 hikers died while on this trail. One was a foreign exchange student named Ketty Chen. The other was 28-year-old Brandon Reese. They were missing for just over a day when their bodies were found. They'd fallen to their deaths. The area they'd been hiking ranges from moderate to very technical, and unfortunately, neither of the pair had proper gear with them. Great Smoky Mountains National Park. This is a beautiful spot on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina, and has some stunning views, lush forests, but people go missing here all the time. The park is vast and the woods are dense, making it easy for someone to get turned around and lost. There are also very dangerous animals like copperhead snakes, bears, feral hogs, bobcats. Over the years, a few people have wandered off the beaten path and never made it back. And it's not just a case of people getting lost. Sometimes they seem to just vanish without a trace. One of the strangest cases is the disappearance of Dennis Martin in 1962. He was on a camping trip with family. His father had seen him going behind a bush to hide. He was gonna jump out and scare the adults, but 5 minutes went by and he hadn't come out. The family looked everywhere for him, and he was nowhere to be seen. They contacted the park rangers and there was a huge search. Even the Green Berets were called in at one point, but he never turned up. The problem was it started to rain heavily on the first day of the search, which would have gotten rid of any clear tracks, and then there was heavy mist on the days that followed. So if you're planning a trip to the Great Smoky Mountains, enjoy the scenery, but be smart. Now we head way over to Nepal to discuss the Annapurna Circuit. Now, this trek looks absolutely spectacular. Pretty sure this would still be very much worth it for me. Amazing scenery, but apparently the terrain can be pretty challenging, and there have been a number of hikers who have disappeared along here. The Annapurna Circuit stretches across the Annapurna mountain range in the Himalayas. It's got high altitudes, the weather can be pretty harsh, and the trails wind through diverse landscapes, from subtropical forests to alpine meadows. The circuit crosses the Thorong La Pass, one of the highest trekking passes in the world, reaching an elevation of over 17,000 feet. So, you gotta be very well prepared for something like that. People have died along here for all kinds of reasons: harsh weather and avalanches, accidents, and just getting lost and never being seen again. Next on the list is Denali National Park in Alaska. This place is home to the tallest peak in North America, Mount McKinley. now officially known as Denali. Once again, you have rugged terrain here and unpredictable weather. British mountaineer Richard Leo disappeared on Denali in 2010. He'd been attempting a solo climb of the West Buttress route, but he never made it, and his body was never found. And just last year, 2 mountain climbers died while climbing a 10,300-foot peak called the Moose's Tooth. It's been described as a, quote, steep technical route. A friend had contacted authorities when he hadn't heard from the pair, and a search and rescue was launched, but the 2 were never found. It was likely they'd set off an avalanche that dragged them away. And just like with most of the places on this list, search and rescue isn't easy because of its remote location and limited accessibility. The park is also vast, making it tough to locate people in a short amount of time.
Next up, we have yet another body discovered in the woods near Vietnam Veterans Memorial Bridge in Lewiston in Maine. On Friday afternoon, on the 3rd of May of this year, a body was found inside a tent in the wooded area beneath the bridge. Authorities were called and police arrived at the scene shortly after, around 4:30. Of course, as is with everything on the list, this is incredibly recent. I mean, you did click on a video about disturbing things found in 2024, just 5 months into 2024. So there's not much information. What has been released to the public, though, is that the body was removed from the area and brought to a medical examiner. The person's identity, as well as the cause of death, remains unknown.
One of the creepiest things about the woods to me are all the noises. Through the dense vegetation and the sheer size of some forests, you never really know what could be lurking out there. So when you hear something like this, yeah, it makes you pretty uneasy. That sounded like the werewolf howl from An American Werewolf in London. If you've seen the movie, you know the one. Not what I want to hear while trekking alone through the forest. The video was taken in a forest somewhere in eastern Canada a few months back. Now, it being the Canadian wilderness, there are tons of things that could have made a sound like that. Doesn't make it sound any less frightening though. It could be a moose call. But have you ever seen a moose up close? They're gigantic. And there's also the possibility that it is a Sasquatch call. Can't write that off either.
Next up, believe it or not, is not a dead body, just an incredibly creepy abandoned home filled with creepy and decrepit knickknacks. Earlier this year, 2 Canadian urban explorers stumbled upon an abandoned home while exploring in Ontario. As the explorers entered the home, they were greeted by a doll sitting on the staircase, and many other vintage dolls and toys were scattered around the house, some in okay condition for an abandoned house, that is, and some not really. Many stuffed animals had been ripped to shreds and strewn across the floor, making for a pretty eerie sight. As the explorers made their way through the home, they were greeted in each and every room by another pair of lifeless, unblinking doll eyes. One of the explorers even said that it was the strangest abandoned house they had ever seen, and that it was also super creepy. If you have a fear of dolls, I wouldn't suggest seeking this place out because I don't know, you might pee your pants.
This next story comes to us from Reddit. It was posted about 6 months back from a now deleted user. I hope they're okay. It goes as follows. Hey everyone, I need to get this off my chest. Something weird happened to me yesterday and I can't shake the feeling that I was being followed. So I decided to take a hike in the ravine near my house. It's usually pretty quiet, but yesterday things felt off right from the start. About halfway into my hike, I started hearing twigs snapping behind me. At first I thought it was just an animal, maybe a raccoon, but when I turned around, there was nothing there. I shrugged it off and kept walking, but I kind of felt like I was being watched. Then I started to hear footsteps. Not the rustling of leaves or the scurrying of small animals, but distinct footsteps like someone was walking right behind me. I stopped. I looked around, but again, nobody there. At this point, I started to feel really uneasy. I picked up my pace, hoping to shake off whatever was following me, but the footsteps kept getting closer. I could almost feel someone breathing down my neck. I broke into a sprint. I didn't stop until I burst out of the ravine and back onto the street. When I finally caught my breath, I glanced back at the trees, half expecting to see someone standing right there, but there was nothing. I don't know what to make of it. Maybe it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but I can't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone in there.
And finally, we have the discovery of a 22-million-year-old forest located in the Panama Canal. And while this discovery is not spooky scary, like unknown beings and unsolved deaths, it's scary in the sense that it reminds us that we really know nothing about the planet that we live on. Earlier this year, scientists discovered a 22-million-year-old forest that had previously disappeared after a volcanic eruption. They discovered remnants of the forest on Barrow, Colorado Island after noticing fossilized trees on the island that they believe were likely all buried and fossilized by volcanic lava flow in the same massive event. The fossilized trees represent a species of mangrove previously unknown, and it is believed that they can grow to be upward of 131 feet tall, which is wild considering modern-day mangroves generally grow to be only about 20 feet.
Staying within the woods for a short period of time for a little hike is all fine and dandy. What if you choose to stay there for multiple nights? By yourself. This camper is much braver than me and thankfully recorded his journey of a strange anomaly that happened to him on his solo trip. It was all fine in the beginning, until things began to happen as his journey progressed into the nighttime. Hearing some noises outside, he proceeds out of his camper with caution, only to notice the flickering of a light way off in the distance. Getting closer to it, he notices that it's a flashlight that wasn't left by him. Clearly, he wasn't alone in these woods. And I quote from him, "A flashlight just doesn't fall out of the sky." Taking a break and trying to compose himself, he steps away from the flashlight after taking it with him, only to come back and notice that it was turned on and moved from the original spot he placed it down in. You've got to be kidding me. I'd pack up and leave right after that. But clearly this guy was no quitter and proceeded to stay the night, even sleeping it off, before making it to the morning and leaving as soon as the sun came up. He was incredibly lucky nothing had happened to him, and I think it's better we never find out who or what was playing this sick joke on him, because for all we know, it could have been someone with not so great intentions. Being able to catch a real ghost on camera has and always will be one of the greatest achievements of our lifetimes. Whenever I go hiking out in the woods, I always like to record my findings, but I don't know how I feel when it comes to much older buildings. The man recording this video seemingly comes out of the brush after hiking for a bit and stumbles upon a church. I don't blame him for wanting to record, as old-style churches are incredibly beautiful and intricate in its design. However, as it pans down to get a view of the whole building, we see that there is a woman there watching him film, probably wanting to introduce himself and maybe explain why he's taking a video. It only gets all the more scarier as the woman disappears completely as he turns the corner. And I do mean completely. The only logical explanation, if you would call it that, is that she had gone through the wall itself. It was never explained who this girl was, and the hiker never sees her again after that. But if it was truly a ghost, I personally wouldn't stay any second longer in that location. Were you the type of child that liked to run on all fours? Or would you run up the stairs like a dog or a cat? I definitely was, because it was fun, silly, and harmless. Would you say the same if it came to seeing it outside in the darkness? Seeing this video definitely freezes me in place, as we clearly see what may appear to be a child or a woman standing on all fours, aggressively shaking their head in an unnatural way. If I were to come across this and saw that thing down the trail, you better believe I'm turning in the opposite direction. I am not playing here. Not to mention the way it's standing, how all its limbs are completely straightened out, not like how humans will have a natural bend in their knees or arms when placing themselves in this position. If this came running towards you at full speed, what do? I think my heart would stop, and I'd give up and let the creature take me. Maybe it'll raise me as one of their own. Who knows? Now these next group of guys are smart. You always want to stick together as a group when exploring forest trails in the dark. And even better that they have bikes. All the more easier to get away from whatever could be chasing you within the dark, confusing landscape of the woods. This one you really need to slow down and watch carefully, because you might just miss it. It all happens so fast, mainly because of the speed that these guys are tearing up. But right at the beginning, you can see our main guy with the GoPro swerve out of the way from what appears to be a figure dressed in all black, with the only clear area of skin that's shown is its hand. The creature seemed to also completely unbothered, especially when 2 bikes had already passed. This strikes me as very odd. Not even a single reaction coming from the anomaly. Some speculate that it was some sort of witch, which isn't a bad guess, and considering the tattered, long black clothing that they were wearing, which stereotypical cartoon witches wear. I've only heard stories of unknown creatures running across the front of a car of a dark trail, and I'm glad it's only that I've experienced. With the lack of streetlights and only being dependent on the soft glow of your headlights, who knows what you'll find out there within the comfort of a dark forest. Right as the car turns the corner, we see far off into the distance of what appears to be an incredibly large beast bolt across the street, as if they're the ones being surprised by the sudden appearance. Are you kidding me? I'm terrified of you, pal. You're the size of 6 of me stacked up. And if you look closely, were those 2 tails I saw? Or antennas?
Kanapur Forest turns into a deadly trap during India's monsoon season with landslides and flash floods, not to mention the tigers and bears. The red forest near Chernobyl is so radioactive it killed the trees within hours, and it's still dangerous to stand in decades later. After Fukushima, parts of Japan's forests were labeled difficult to return zones, with radiation baked so deep into the soil that cleaning it up is next to impossible. These are creepy forests so dangerous they're illegal to enter. In India's Karnataka state, there's a forest near a place called Kanapur that's now blocked off every year during monsoon season. Entry is strictly forbidden, and that's because when it rains, the entire area turns into this dangerous mess. The trails get covered in slippery moss, rivers and waterfalls overflow, and the visibility gets so bad you could easily just fall and get swept away. On top of that, you have all the living dangers to worry about. Leopards, bears, and tigers, oh my. And things get more dangerous during this season because the animals get pushed into smaller areas thanks to flooding. What really pushed things over the edge was a group of guys who ignored the ban, hiked into the restricted zone, and posted videos of themselves online. Thankfully, they didn't die, but they were arrested. Since then, they've added more security here. They got checkposts now, forest staff patrolling the area, and they're turning people away every day. You don't get a slap on the wrist if you're caught. It is a criminal charge. The Red Forest is a no-go zone inside the Chernobyl exclusion zone in Ukraine. When the Chernobyl disaster happened in 1986, this patch of forest got hit with this blast of radiation so strong it killed the trees almost instantly, and the pine needles turned red. That's of course where the name comes from. And the ground is still full of radioactive dust decades later. Unlike a lot of the forests on this list, the danger here is pretty much unavoidable. It's dangerous to your health just standing in it for too long. Imagine getting lost here. The Ukrainian government made it illegal to enter without special permission, and even then, you're not allowed to stay for very long. You need protective gear as well. There are patrols, checkpoints, and fences to keep people out. Tourists can visit parts of the exclusion zone on guided trips, but the Red Forest is off limits. It's so radioactive that even cleanup crews avoid it unless they absolutely have to go in. Animals have come back to the area, but that doesn't mean it's safe. There's not really a way to explain the dangers of radiation poisoning to wild boars and wolves. After the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, Japan set up a 20-kilometer exclusion zone around the Fukushima Daiichi plant. Some areas have reopened, but a portion are still off limits. They're known as the difficult to return zones. These are forests where radiation levels are still dangerously high. Just like the Red Forest in Ukraine, you can't get in without special permission. Don't know why you'd want to anyway, though. These forests cover about 70% of Fukushima Prefecture. Decontaminating them is pretty much impossible because of the way radiation particles cling to trees and soil, so the government decided not to bother with these areas, focusing on places people actually live in and work around. Even in zones where people have returned, foraging is still restricted. Wild plants and mushrooms often contain radiation levels that are well above safety limits. The radiation just seeps into the ground. Nongmai Ching is a forest in northeast India that's technically off limits. If you're an outsider, that is. It's a protected area and under Indian law, You're not supposed to build on it, live there, or do much of anything without permission. That hasn't stopped people from trying though. Over the years, parts of the forest have been cleared out for farming. People have also tried to build homes here. Some of those clearings were done by setting fires on purpose. In 2023, police caught 4 guys hunting in the forest with firearms and flashlights. The forest department and police have had to do full-blown eviction drives, removing illegal setups and chasing people off the land. It's gotten tense a few times, so the government put a stop to casual visits. No camping, no picnics. Even if you're just looking to explore, you're not allowed in without official clearance. It's also a sacred place for some of the local communities, so there's pressure to keep people out for both environmental and cultural reasons. Sapo National Park is the biggest protected rainforest in Liberia, and while it's technically possible to visit, you need special permission, and even then, the government has restricted access a number of times over the years. The place is pretty dangerous if you're inexperienced. It's deep, it's isolated, and there are no marked trails. You're basically on your own here if you try to get in without clearance. People have tried though. In the early 2000s, there was this wave of illegal settlers who tried to move into the forest, and it took government troops and UN peacekeepers to get them out. There's also been poaching and illegal gold mining here. In 2023, over 3,000 illegal miners were removed from 24 camps in the park. But because of how wild and on track the forest is, just getting in is hard enough. Some sections have been sealed off completely, and wildlife authorities have even set up patrols to watch for people trying to sneak in.
Number 5, the last hike. Dalen Kaloa went missing during a hike on the infamous Haiku Stairs, also known as the Stairway to Heaven. Ironically enough, on the morning of February 27th, 2015, Dalen told his family that he planned to hike this dangerous illegal trail. Now, throughout the hike, he sent several photos to his family, but in one image, they noticed something quite strange in the background. They noticed an unidentified man just standing there, almost lurking, watching his every move. Dalen never returned, and despite extensive searches, he was never found. So now, of course, his family is seeking the public's help to identify this man in the background of the photo, believing, of course, that he might hold vital information that could lead to Dalen's whereabouts. This haunting mystery remains unsolved, leaving many to wonder, could this unidentified man provide the key to uncovering what happened that day? Or even worse, was this man responsible? Number 4, Battleground Ghost. In 1862, 3 major battles were fought in what now is the Maryland section of the Appalachian Trail. Now, the sheer number of casualties in these battles, of course, create an eerie atmosphere, with many soldiers losing their lives on that land. Today, hikers report seeing ghostly soldiers, strange campfires, and even hearing cannon blasts echoing in the distance, almost as if the spirits of the fallen soldiers are still present. Now, one haunting site is near the farm of Daniel Wise. Visitors to the area have claimed to see ghostly figures wandering the land, adding to the chilling history of this part of the trail. This photo here was taken in May 2015 in that exact same spot. Do you believe this is a ghost from a civil battle? Comment down below. What do you think this is? Number 3, Halloween Ghost. Captured, of course, on Halloween Day 2023, this eerie image shows what appears to be a ghostly figure, a ghostly white figure clinging onto an old tree. Now, the form is faint, almost human, not quite, but almost there, and it's blurred, and the low quality makes it seem like it's drifting between this world and another. It raises the question, could it be a simple trick of light with the sun casting strange shadows through the branches, perfectly explainable, or is this someone or something who has quietly been watching from the shadows all along, only now revealing itself to those who look closely? This looks a lot like something I saw when I was younger. I always wondered if I saw a ghost or if I was just seeing things. Now I'm starting to think it's the former. Number 2, Headless Deer. Like something straight out of a dark fairy tale, this image captures a deer that, well, seems to be missing its head, doesn't it? Wandering the forest with an eerie sense of purpose. Perhaps, where's my head? Maybe that's a good purpose, trying to find that. Its disembodied form stirs an unsettling feeling, as if it's lost, aimlessly drifting through the woods, haunting anyone who crosses its path. Now, I know this is most likely an illusion, but the way the deer is angled, I'll be honest, I really can't see how its head can be positioned in order for this to happen. Imagine seeing this on your trail cam one morning. Ugh, I would be sick. And finally, number 1, Mount St. Helens. On May 18th, 1980, David A. Johnston, a dedicated volcanologist, stood over Mount St. Helens, aware of the growing signs of unrest. Now, given the date of this photo, you can probably guess what happens next. This was 13 hours before the devastating eruption, and he made his last transmission over the radio. He said, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it." And he was not wrong. Those haunting words echoed into silence as the volcano did erupt, sending ash and destruction all across the landscape. Now, despite extensive search efforts, David's remains were never found, except for this photo, which of course leaves behind a chilling reminder of nature's unpredictable power and the sacrifices made, all in the name of science.
A Moss Bluff man has been found safe after surviving 2 nights in the woods of Liberty County, Texas. About 60 searchers were looking for the 23-year-old. Authorities say Godet told them he simply got lost.
When night falls and the wilderness awakens, hidden cameras capture what we were never meant to see. From eerie silhouettes to unidentifiable creatures, join us as we unveil the most chilling unsolved mysteries ever caught on trail cameras. Are you ready to face the unknown? Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have the forest encounter. Being in the woods at night is never not scary. Even if you're an experienced outdoors person, there is just something unsettling about the secrets the woods like to hold. This video is absolutely no exception to that. This video was taken back in 2006 in the Catalonian forest, where 2 men and their families were on a camping trip. I'm not entirely sure what led up to the men taking this video or why they were walking around the forest at night, but regardless of how they got into this position, what happened next is something I'm sure they will never forget. As they walk deeper into this forest, something catches their attention. They see what looks like a mysterious creature on top of a tree branch. As they see the creature, they obviously stop walking and are filming it, scared for what it might be. The forest is of course full of dangerous animals, so it's always good to proceed with caution, but I'm sure these men had no idea just how scary this creature was about to become. As the light from the recorder shines on the creature and the men try to get a closer look, the creature turns its face to look directly at them. The creature's eyes glow in the light with a human-looking head but an inhuman-feeling aura. The men quickly book it out of there, and I have to say, I would do exactly the same thing. After experiencing something like that, I don't think you could ever catch me in the woods again. In our number 9 spot today, we have the skinwalker in the woods. This creepy video was posted to TikTok by the user Adrian Montenegro02, and it was supposed to be just a casual video showing a camping trip with their family that they were taking near Monterrey in Mexico. It should just be a nice casual fun family trip, right? Wrong. Of course not. This video shows the family all hanging out together with one member being pushed on a swing by a couple other members. This is all fine and well, but it's what's in the background that really has viewers concerned and definitely had the family freaking out when they reviewed the footage. In the back, you see a creepy figure moving around. This figure is pale and human looking, and it just moves around quietly like it's trying not to be seen. Is it hiding from the family? Is it planning something sinister? After posting, many viewers began putting forth their theories. Some believe the figure seen in the back is a skinwalker, while others believe it is someone who lives in the woods waiting for their moment to strike. At the end of the day, whatever this thing is, it is sure unsettling, and all I can ask is, why is it watching this family's vacation? In our number 8 spot today, we have Bigfoot? Would this list truly be complete without the sighting of a supposed Bigfoot? This video comes from 2015 when a man named McCamey reported seeing a strange, unexplainable creature hiding in the woods. McCamey was kayaking in a swamp close to Tampa in Florida when he heard a noise, and then he began to see some strange movement. He started recording what he thought was likely a bear or a similar kind of animal, but as he got closer he realized that something more unusual was going on. The creature began to navigate through the alligator-infested water with ease, and it began using its arms to swing through the branches, which is something that isn't really commonly seen with bears. as far as I know. Some people believe this video is a hoax, while others believe this is full-blown proof that Bigfoot is alive and well and living in Florida. What do you think? In our number 7 spot today, we have a cult meeting. This next video comes from a group of friends who were on a casual hike, enjoying themselves, getting some fresh air and exercise, but little did they know they were about to stumble upon something a lot more sinister than a typical day outdoors. As they are hiking on the trail and up a hill, they look back and see some kind of weird secret cult or secret society type meeting. These people begin walking, dressed in white robes, and while that obviously isn't any kind of a crime, it's bizarre, to say the least. The person who took the video also posted another video of this strange encounter because these people didn't just look creepy, they were also making creepy sounds. I can't tell if the sound is music, singing, chanting, screaming, I'm not entirely sure, but whatever it is, it was all creepy enough for these guys to stop their hike, record, and post it on the internet for all of us to watch and wonder, what exactly is going on here? In our number 6 spot today, we have the backyard horror. This video starts off with someone recording in their home. We quickly find out that the reason they started recording is because they noticed something strange in their backyard. Never a good way to start off a video. He apparently was hearing weird voices coming from outside of his house, and of course wanted to record as he investigated, and well, good thing he did. He turns the lights off inside so that he could see what was going on outside better, and well, absolute nightmare fuel ensues when he does this. As he turns the camera to the dark backyard, he suddenly sees a human-like creature come darting towards him. The figure appears to have come from a bush in the backyard, and who knows how long it had been there for. What is so creepy to me is that this creature clearly knew he was looking into the yard at this point, so I want to know how long it was there for, watching him through the windows. Also, what the hell is that thing? Let me know.
Did a fisherman just capture footage of the real-life gill man? Apparently a guy was fishing near Barnegat Bay in eastern New Jersey when he saw something poke its head out of the water. He had no idea what he was looking at. The more he looked at it, the thing just kept rising and rising until the whole upper half of its body was out of the water, and it was clear that this was not your ordinary animal. I mean, yikes. How'd you like to be swimming in the water with this thing? I gotta say, this creature looks pretty convincing. Definitely gives me the ick, but there are a couple fun comments that I wanna mention as well. One person says, "This is BS. If anyone saw that, they'd run, not record for 3 minutes," which, you know, fair enough. I can see where they're coming from there, but someone else responded, "It's called a stare down. The person out of fear and the frog out of confusion. Hence the term scared stiff." Also a good point, but I really just love that they called this thing a frog. And also someone else commented, "This is what happens when people stop eating frog legs." People just love calling this guy a frog. I don't know what frogs you people are looking at, but anyway. This next clip was shared by Sunny Vader on YouTube. The footage was captured by campers in Clearwater County, Alberta last month. The uploader had been tearing down their camp when they spotted this large, dark figure lurking in the trees nearby. He managed to quietly capture the thing on camera before it made its way back into the woods. They probably thought it was a bear at first, but after zooming in on the thing with the camera, they probably immediately changed their mind. It seems to be standing upright. Not that bears can't do that, but they usually won't for very long. It looks to me like this is a massive, hairy ape man spying on a couple hikers in the woods. On March 21st, something strange was spotted floating low over the rooftops in Saladin, Iraq, and yes, there's video of it. So as you can see, this strange object has a very odd shape. It looks like you took a flying saucer and then made it vertical. It almost looks like Boba Fett's Slave One from Star Wars. It also looks like it has these long trailing tendrils like a jellyfish, not like any drone I've ever seen. The object drifted smoothly over the buildings and a local managed to capture it on camera. The clip quickly spread online, just another piece of video to add to the growing list of UFO sightings this year. People who saw it described it as otherworldly and eerily silent. Some think it might be high-tech military equipment, others think this may actually be proof of something not from this world. But What do you all think? Now, stepping away from frogmen, aliens, and Sasquatch for a moment, let's talk about some mysterious jellyfish that were spotted just a few months back. The video shows two types of jellyfish that no one's ever seen before. At least ones that haven't been documented by science. The footage comes from researchers at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. First up is this one here. A very bizarre looking creature. It's so hard to make sense of. It's just so different from anything we see day to day here on land. Almost looks like it belongs in space. As one of the researchers said while filming the thing though, "I've never seen one of those. Have you?" And then another researcher's like, "Nope." They also captured footage of this smaller jellyfish. NOAA scientists couldn't identify this one either. Both were found during a deep sea dive off the northeastern coast of the US near Newport, Rhode Island. We see so many supposed videos of Bigfoot, but barely ever any dogman videos. Well, that all changes today. This dashcam footage comes out of Bladensboro, North Carolina. A man drove up to his property late at night when he got the fright of his life. Some big hairy creature had been lurking just outside his home, but his headlights hit it and the thing scuttled off into the trees. Not in the most graceful manner, I must add. This dogman is rather dainty in its movements, does this kind of toddler hop as it moves away. It can't be too hard on Dogman though. He's not as used to being in the spotlight, always being outshined by the ever so famous Sasquatch. Skinwalkers, mysterious figures roaming through the wilderness alone in the middle of the night, in ghastly forms bobbing in the river in the dark. These are disturbing creatures caught on trail cams in 2024. So just what in the hell are we looking at here? I don't know, but I can say for sure that I don't like it. They look like the ghost girl from Ringu poking her head out of the water. They're pale with long black hair covering most of their faces, if these even are faces we're looking at here. It's hard to tell. You'll also notice they seem to have glowing, reflective eyes. So the story behind this clip is that back in April of this year, a trail cam was set up right at the edge of a river where locals had been experiencing strange things, telling stories of dark spirits lurking in the water. Now, as for where the footage comes from, I've seen comments saying it's a river called Namor Ong. I tried to look up Namor Ong and I can't find any info on that place, so please let me know in the comments if you know anything about that or if Namor Ong even exists at all. Anyway, a pretty spooky clip. This next piece of trail cam footage comes from a TikToker named The Most Mandy, who posted this eerie footage captured by the security camera outside her home in the Appalachian Mountains. So we see a figure in a long white robe moving across her property, at one point saying, "Let me in this very craggly, almost witch-like voice. She gets closer and closer to the house until the motion sensors go off and she retreats back into the shadows. Here's another clip taken by a camera at another part of the house. We can hear the woman better in this clip, not that we really want to. Well, you know what? She sold me. I'd have let her in. I mean, how could anyone turn down such a soothing, friendly voice like that? Back in June, a hunter placed a trail camera in the woods expecting to pick up animals. Instead, he captured this odd scene. At about 2 a.m., a figure wearing what looks like a long dress steps out from the shadows and passes the camera. Who was this person and what were they doing in the middle of the woods at 2 in the morning? Well, they were running from someone or something. As the video continues, we see a dark mass crawl out of the depths of the thicket. As the thing gets closer, we notice it's crawling. It looks like it has long dark hair and reflective eyes. The rest of its face is hard to make out, but there's something not quite right about whatever this thing is. This next video is also captured by a trail cam in the Appalachian Mountains. It was posted by Elizabeth Maynard 98, who captured something incredibly unsettling moving across her property, and there were a pair of them. When they first pass by, it's hard to make out what these things are, but they're clearly walking on all fours. They move off camera before turning around and passing the camera again, this time walking on their hind legs, looking much more humanoid, but no less disturbing. They're incredibly thin with glowing eyes and look to be hairless, almost like your classic stereotypical alien. They also walk with this very unnatural gait, taking these itty-bitty little steps, almost like they're not used to walking upright. Some commenters also think these creatures look like rakes, skinwalkers, or possible wendigos, but what do you all think? This is a very strange post from about 9 months back by Reddit user What Did You Do, Ray, who was seeking out help about the odd behavior he was experiencing with his trail camera, writing, "This trail cam is at a Christmas tree farm in Bedford, Pennsylvania. There are no buildings, lights, or structures in the area at all where this cam is. Every night for the past 2 months, my cam takes a picture at exactly 12:05 and 1 second in the AM. There is never anything in the pics. No deer, squirrels, foxes, etc. Recently, the pictures have shown a red light being cast across the top of the trees. One pic shows the red light to be extremely bright and def in a circle around the trees. And then there is the picture from March 5th of 2024 that shows 2 blurs, one directly above one of the trees and a very similar blur to the right on the ground just off the road. The odder thing is that this picture's timestamp is at 12:05 and 2 seconds. It's the only picture in the entire series of pics from the past 2 months that was taken 1 second later. Now, he also posted in the comments later that he'd switched the camera to take video instead of pictures at one point, and that the camera would successfully take video at any other time of day except 12:05 AM, where it wouldn't take video when the sensor went off at that time, only taking a picture. Definitely strange. So the question is, what's causing this camera to go off? Well, something was hovering above the trees, casting a red light at the exact same time of night every night for 2 months. Next up, we have the Appalachian Trail, and probably the saddest story on this list. So this is a famous hiking path stretching over 2,000 miles from Georgia to Maine. It crosses through a variety of landscapes, forests to mountains, making a popular but very challenging trail. Now, the AT is known for being a long-distance hiking paradise. It's got its challenges though. It's wild, and people have been known to go missing. One of the most well-known cases is that of 66-year-old Geraldine Largay. In 2013, she was hiking a section of the trail in Maine, and unfortunately, she got lost. She'd ended up wandering into dense terrain, so wild it was actually used for military training. She wouldn't be found until 2 years later. She'd been writing in her journal though, which was found along with her body by a logger. The last entry read, "When you find my body, please call my husband George and my daughter Carrie. It will be the greatest kindness for them to know that I am dead and where you found me, no matter how many years from now." The Appalachian Trail is long, with parts that are less traveled and can be dangerous to navigate, and if you go off the trail, it's easy to get disoriented. Now we head over to New Zealand with the Traverse Sabine Circuit in Nelson Lakes National Park. Another absolutely stunning place by the looks of it. I mean, it's New Zealand. Lord of the Rings was shot here for a very good reason, but it can be dangerous too. In 2014, a German student named Christian Prenn embarked on the Traverse Sabine Circuit but never returned. All that was found was his backpack, which he'd left at the base of Mount Traverse before he'd attempted his climb. Mount Traverse is the second highest peak in the park, and it's known for being treacherously steep. About 50 people have gone missing in this park and have never been found. All have been traveling solo. Cradle Mountain Lake in St. Clair National Park, Australia. This is Australia, so danger kinda goes without saying. People need to be rescued from this area on a pretty frequent basis, it seems. This place is famous for its rugged landscapes and, of course, the stunning Cradle Mountain itself, but also has its fair share of mysteries. The park has seen a few cases of people going completely missing, especially in its more remote areas. One of the things that makes Cradle St. Clair National Park unique is the Overland Trek. It's a popular and beautiful trek, but you gotta be seriously prepared. There's a warning right on the Tasmania Parks and Wildlife Service website saying, "Warning, the Overland Trek is a serious undertaking for well-prepared walkers with a good level of fitness and who understand the risks of walking in a remote alpine area. Weather can change rapidly and deaths have occurred, even in summer, when people have been caught unprepared in cold, wet, and windy weather." So yeah, weather is a big part of the problem in this area. It can be very unpredictable. Next up, we have the rather infamous Yosemite National Park. This park in California is known for its beautiful granite cliffs, the waterfalls, all the people going missing, the pretty trees. Oh, wait, what's that? Missing people? Yeah. Lots of them. The most well-known case is probably Stacy Harris in 1981. She was a young hiker who veered off from her group to take pictures of a lake and then was never seen again. Helicopters and ground teams searched for her, but she was never found. And she's not the only one. The latest missing person is Joel Thomason, who planned a 3-day solo trek in September of 2021. He never returned, and his body has never been found. Yosemite's terrain can be pretty challenging. There are a lot of steep cliffs, dense forests. The park encompasses a vast area, and while popular destinations like Yosemite Valley have well-marked trails, if you decide to venture into more remote parts, you may not be ready for it. So just like with every place on this list, just don't take nature lightly. And finally, we of course have the Bennington Triangle. The Bennington Triangle in southwestern Vermont has become pretty well known over the years because of the mysterious disappearances. One of the most well-known missing persons cases is Paula Weldon. She was a college student who vanished on December 1st of 1946. Paula was a sophomore at Bennington College and had gone for a solo hike on the Long Trail, a part of the Appalachian Trail that passes through the area. Unfortunately, she never returned. There was a massive search effort, including hundreds of volunteers, law enforcement, even the military, but there was no trace of her. The Bennington Triangle is an area including Glattensbury Mountains, Somerset, and Bennington, and it became known as the Bennington Triangle because there are plenty of other unexplained disappearances in this area of land. Some other famous cases are the vanishing of James Tedford, who disappeared from a bus in 1949, leaving all his belongings behind. That has to be one of the strangest cases I've ever heard, because he wasn't even out in the open, he was on a bus. And the mysterious disappearance of Paul Jepson in 1950 while on a family outing. This place is very, very strange. Some of the scariest stuff we can find is out in the vastness, in the foliage of the forest.
And some of it was found this year. This is what we found so far.
So these are some of the freshest, latest stories of some of the creepiest stuff found in the woods. Alright, I got a new Bigfoot video for you guys. This video was posted to TikTok by the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization with the description reading, "Alleged trail camera footage has emerged of what appears to be a giant black Bigfoot throwing trees and destroying a potential crime scene where it is said human remains were located." So this is a pretty clear video. The creature is obscured by trees, but we do get a nice long look at it. And just like the description says, whatever this thing is, it's picking up big logs and hurling them around like they're nothing. Take a look. Yeah, that ain't no bear. The way it like picks it up and just like slams it down like that. If I saw some hairy thing slamming a log down in the middle of the woods, I would be booking it right out of there. There are a few things that make this video convincing. For one, the clear strength the thing seems to exhibit. One commenter wrote, "I had a tree business before, so I know the weight of logs, and that would take extraordinary strength to do that." I also like that this footage was supposedly taken with a trail camera. If this had been taken by some hiker in the woods, I'd be wondering why they stuck around to film when it's pretty obvious you'd be running for your life. Anyway, what do you all think of this one? Hoax? Genuine? Let me know down in the comments.
Next up, we have the shocking discovery of Cole Brings Plenty, an actor best known for his role on Into the Wild Frontier, as well as his work on 1923 and The Tall Tales of Jim Bridger. Plenty was last seen on March 30th of this year, driving his white Ford Explorer out of Lawrence, Kansas. He was reported missing the following day. After receiving a call about an empty vehicle matching the description of Plenty's, police canvassed the woods nearby where it had been left. And on April 5th of this year, 2024, Cole Brings Plenty was found dead. While the cause of death has yet to be shared with the public, police insist that they will continue to investigate the passing and provide more information as time goes on.
Aliens in Brazil. So this is a bit of a weird story. Just back in January, hikers in Brazil captured some strange figures looming over them at the top of a hill. Figures who they believed to be of extraterrestrial origin. And I will say, whatever these things are, they don't look human. I mean, not quite. There's something just kinda off about them. The footage was captured on an island about 285 miles down the coast from Sao Paulo. In the video, we see a beautiful hillside, but perched on top are two tall humanoid figures silhouetted against the sky. And considering how far away they are, they look to be pretty tall. The people who posted the video said they were about 10 feet tall. Now, on top of that, their bodies just look weird. They're very slender, and zooming in on one of these things here, yeah, just take a look at how long that arm is. I mean, sure, the image is blurry. Maybe it's just kind of distorted, or maybe, you know, Slender Man was on vacation in Brazil. It does have a bit of a Slender Man kind of look to it. Now, if you're wondering, oh, maybe these were just like, you know, scarecrow type things at the top of the hill, you do actually see them move a little bit in the footage, and they don't move naturally either. I don't know, could totally be a hoax, could also be genuine. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Next up, we have another body found in the woods, this time just off of Richmond International Raceway, a car racing track located in Henrico County in the state of Virginia. Around 4 p.m. on April 25th, a man visiting the track went to use the washroom when he noticed a strong smell. When he followed it, he discovered the body of an unknown man or woman that, according to reports, was not skeletal but had likely been in the woods for an extended period of time before being discovered. Of course, seeing as this is incredibly recent, there is not much information on the case, other than it seems as though the body was left there intentionally. Police have yet to release the cause of death or any other identifying information on the deceased, probably because they don't know. They did state that they are sifting through missing persons reports in an effort to identify who the victim might be.
Next up, we have a jogger who captured a pretty creepy image and didn't even know about it until later. A runner named Kay Borlees was on an endurance run with the Hawaiian ultra running team. During a particularly harsh stretch of the loop, full of tree roots and water crossings, she ended up injuring her foot and had to pull out of the race. Her pacer, Cassie, had been capturing images the entire time though, so she had some photos to show her friends and family. As she scrolled through the images, something caught her eye though, something that sent a shiver down her spine. It looked like a ghoulish figure had been peering out at her from the brush. Take a look. Kay posted her story along with the images to Reddit, and they were blowing up recently. And it makes sense, because that is a pretty creepy image. It looks like a zombie is walking through the woods there. Both Cassie and Kay didn't remember seeing anyone else on that part of the trail, saying tourists weren't out that early. We didn't see anyone for hours while running together, so we were, and still are, positive there was no one there.